Before we get into this next episode of the Work Area Podcast, just need to give a shout out to all the sponsors that help me do this podcast and help me race every week. KRM Hot Shots, the crew that never stops so you don't have to. We specialise in express delivery of parts and products to the mining sector anywhere in Australia. Fast, reliable and on the road 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. When it needs to be there now, call KRM Hot Shots. Bunbury Toyota, family owned and operated since 1973. They've got new and used vehicles plus service and parts all in the one spot. Go and see the team at Bunbury Toyota for your next car, just like I did when I bought the Hilux. I saw John, had the car in a few weeks. Easy, easy, easy. Jolly Good Auto Electrics. If you need anything auto electrical, in-car, audio or entertainment, this is your one-stop shop. Go and see Trevor and the boys at 141B Grayson Highway in Bellevue. If you need a new stereo, Apple CarPlay or even a two-way, they'll sort you out. QV. These guys are the leaders in premium automotive electrical gear. Whether it's mining, off-road, 4x4, transport or marine, performance and quality is what they do. Check out the full range online at qv.com.au. That's qvee.com.au. Platinum Tiger Insurance. Specialise in insurance brokerage, claims management and risk service, and they tailor everything to suit you. Dylan Panizza is with Platinum Tiger, and I honestly can't recommend him enough. He's my insurance broker, answers the call, goes above and beyond, and he's the best in the game. Find him online, Platinum Tiger Insurance, or come see me in the pits and I'll put you in touch with him. TPE Group, first sponsor to ever jump on board the podcast. Obviously wouldn't be here without him. Gives us the office, lets me come and go as I please. Ripper team. All Talk Engineering. Jared and the crew at All Talk are your one-stop shop for anything engine related. Have a look around the pits. You'll see his sticker on heaps of cars. He helps a lot of people get out there on the track, so support him if you can. If you want to win, go see Jared and the team and get the All Talk edge. Just remember, all these guys actually help heaps of people out as well, not just me. So remember, support those who support the sport. Let's get into it. All right, we're here at AP Motorsports for episode 57 of the Work Area Podcast with Andrew Priolo. Wicked little joint. We're into it again. I just got one more little sponsor plug here. I need to read it out, actually. It's obviously Slick Apparel. Matty Iwanow and Amber Williamson have it. So they've got slick style, full throttle living. That's the motto. Jump online, slickapparel.com.au. They got a heap of stock. They got more coming on Thursday. But if you jump online now and buy a shirt, it helps out a couple of Ripper people who are trying to get something going. And you can get it brought to the track this weekend, and Matty will be up on the podium wearing a shirt, no doubt. So get amongst it, buy a shirt. But AP, thanks for having us, mate. It's been a long time coming, and keen to get it going.
Yeah, mate, it should be good. It's been a while. So you did your shirt change, plug the sponsor, and you forgot to iron it. If my brother Michael was here, he'd make you iron that, definitely.
I forgot to wear it. Well, it had to change in the intro. Mate, you've had a little bit of time off, but you're obviously going to have a rip Wednesday night, and you're back into it for the state title this weekend. I guess, what's this little off season look like for you, and what are your thoughts coming in? Like, we spoke about it before. Like, has the break been good? Are you keen to go? Is this something you do more often? Where are you?
Yeah, I guess my life's pretty full on these days, and priorities change in life as well. I got to a point in the off season. I actually got to a point. I reckon when I got back from probably by the end of Cricky Boys last year. My busiest month in my business is December, because everyone thinks they got to get, I design houses for a living or commercial properties or whatever, and everyone thinks it has to be in council before the end of before the Christmas break, just so time ticks over in council. So we have our busiest period in December. We then go into our busiest period of racing nearly every day. Then we went away to race, obviously over East. That's full on. That was like, I think 8 or 9 races in 10 days maybe. Come back, then it's February pretty much, and I'm busy at work again. And then, you're racing all the time. That's why we sort of missed the midweek thing this year. And, I sort of wrecked 2 cars when I was away, and, we had some really good, I thought compared to the year before, a lot better experience this year than what we had previous year going over there. So, it's one of those things. I just got to a point, I was like, I'm enjoying it, but I need a break. Like, it got the last, after Cricky Boys, those last couple of nights, it's like, I had a week off, and, you want to get back into it. But, in reality, when you've got to run a business all week, and we work on the cars ourselves, myself, mainly Jake, obviously my brother Michael. You know, you get to the point of the year, it's a lot. You know, we got family at home as well. So I think it got to the point end of the year where I was like, I just, you know, need to, you know, slow down for a minute and have a break. And then obviously the off season came. Myself and Monique had another little girl in May, just after my birthday. So we, you know, we sort of got to the point of the off season. I was like, that came, and everyone that says, you know, I don't know how my mum and dad did 4, but having, you know, 1's 1 and 2's 10, I think it's bang on. So it's just one of those things. I was like, you know, I was really enjoying some family time. Then opportunity come up. I've been trying to move my business and workshop back to Osborne Park for a few years now. So I wanted to get my head down and managed to get another property with one of my sponsors, New Style. We're actually going to have our businesses next door to each other. They're one of my biggest clients. So and one of my best mates. So they're great people and going to be awesome to be next door to each other. So I knew that I was going to be selling the place I was in now because I didn't really want to, you know, have that and then be worried about this place I'm in now. So I was like, well, it's all clean and the truck wasn't here and the real estate agent didn't want the truck here. I was like, you know what? Let's just miss the first couple of nights, get ourselves sorted. Then I know, you know, where I'm at. Family's good, everyone's good, and we want to do a lot of racing this year, but we're going to pretty much hit it hard in a small period. And at this stage, we plan to probably wrap up at the Cricky Boys. So ultimately, it's probably going to be up to me if I have my act together early on, whether we go away or not. All the plans are in place to go. Like combination books, everything's booked, everything's done. But I've sort of put that on myself as well, just to go, you know what, if you're going good, you can go. If you're not, you stay home. So I know Jake's on my back because we love it. We've made, you know, awesome friends over there now. And, you know, we love the trips going away and, you know, that time away from work to switch off and whatever. It's unbelievable. It's the best time.
With that, would it be, obviously with the schedule that you have work-wise and stuff, would it be, I don't know, not beneficial, but like could you almost, if you're not going to do the full season here, prioritise that like 9 races in 10 days, you know, go get it done and then you can come back here and get to work? Would it ever get to the stage where that might be viable for you?
Yeah, so realistically, I think, again, probably, you know, things change in life, right? So my brother Michael has done so much work for my entire family. You know, he's always been with Dad, then with David, with Dad's drag car. He was doing Dad's drag car, David's sprint car, same time. Like Cricky Boys are beyond in Bunbury. It's the biggest drag race of the year, which is the Western Nationals thing it was. And Michael would obviously need to be with the drag car because it's a lot more finesse to get it right. David sort of knows how to set up a sprint car, so he's fine. Michael would go there in the morning on a Saturday, do the motor maintenance, go straight back to the drags, just so David didn't have to do his motor maintenance. Thankfully, I do my own motor maintenance, but yeah, it's just one of those things. It sort of gets to a point as well. I think Michael's done it for so long. You know, I think realistically, I'm going to give this, you know, hit it hard in a short period. Like realistically, with what I actually set out to do for the year, if we do go away, we'll probably still do nearly 25 races in less than 3 months. So from like start of December and finish, second, third week of Feb, that's a lot of racing for people that have got to run businesses. So Michael, obviously, my brother Michael has a mechanical shop with my dad. So they're super busy. Thankfully, both of us close our businesses at Christmas time. So going away, obviously, to do a heap of racing here makes sense as well. And, you know, Michael's got a family too now. So I think realistically we'll see how that goes. And then I think it'll come a time in a few years' time where I'm like, hey, let's do 10 nights a year. And we'll, you know, whether it's just here, we just pick the 10 biggest races we want to do. You know, it could be middle of Speedway. We're like, you know, we don't want to race tonight. But I don't think I'm there yet. I think I would regret if I did that right now. And I've worked so hard to build to this point. Whether it's the truck to be set up to go away or, you know, Jake still loves it. It'll be hard to pull that away from him just yet. So I want to, and I think, you know, missed the classic by not much last year, things like that. So, I really want to make a classic. They're things that are sort of bucket list for me. You know, my Australian titles, every one I've done, I don't know what's happened, but I've struggled. So for whatever reason, whether it's putting pressure on myself and just not doing a good job, but I don't know why, it just hasn't worked for me. So and this year it's at Mount Gambier, and I've never left there with a top wing on it, and I've gone there twice. So hopefully maybe third time lucky if we do go. But been really quick there, like adapted really well. But yeah, like, well, I mean, for someone that doesn't race on little tracks, obviously, but yeah, just for some reason, it's, you know, both times been my own fault crashing. So in the heat race and in a position to be in the A main. So I don't want to, you know, hopefully we can go there and turn that around. But I actually really enjoy Mount Gambier. It's just, it's hard to tell yourself to slow down to go quicker because it's the opposite to what we do at Motorplex.
With that, then you're coming in what other boys have already had 3 rounds. Dane and Callum and Kerry and J Mac obviously gone over east. Are you concerned about rust or anything like that, or have you done enough that you feel like you'll be right there?
Yeah, so I was a little bit concerned about that, I'll be honest, because the pace has stepped up. But then the first night of the year was actually Jake's 30th, and I sort of knew pretty early, obviously, I knew I was going to have this stuff with my business, like with the building, and business was really busy and family stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be doing opening night. It's Jake's 30th this year. You know, if he wants to do something. So we actually all went out to dinner that night, and we had a really good time. It was nice to spend some time, you know, with him. He does so much for me. And his family, like I said, Jake's parents and my parents are really close. We're all like one family. We had a big family trip to Europe last year. Once my dad decided he was done with racing, his big thing was a big Europe trip with all of our family, which, you know, I'm one of 4 boys. We're all married. We all got kids. So start multiplying the numbers. It was, I think there was about 22 of us at one point. So we had Jake's family as well. So Jake's mum and dad and Jake. So and they're like our own family. So we're almost all like one when we're all together. So it's I guess hard to, you know, it's hard to know exactly what, you know, what else to do apart from what we do as a family. But yeah, don't know what else we can do other than that.
Do you have any expectations then coming into the state title? Like internally, what would you say? Like, I know you'd want to win, but what you're coming in after, everyone's got a couple of more laps ahead of you. Do you have any expectations, or is it just let's just feel this out and see where we're at?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't.
Didn't
finish the actual question. So, yeah, I was a little bit worried, but then went to the second and third race, and I honestly believe it's one of the best things. Well, you can correct me if I'm wrong in about 10 days' time, but I think it's one of the best things I've done because we come back, and like I said to you off air before we started talking, we come back after every race. We come back to my workshops nearly an hour from the Motorplex. We'll wash. Jake's dad will cook the barbecue. We have a barbecue, and it's like we're either leaving at 1 o'clock or it's 4 a.m. because we might start talking. And if someone starts a conversation, it's all over. It's obviously you're on the Jack Daniels Coke no sugars, so you're welcome anytime. I reckon you'd fit in well, but it'll be a long drive home for you. Yeah, so we, you know, we always do that, and it's so full on. And I've never got to watch, and they always up me. You know, when we call it a debrief. It's basically where Jake and Michael and, you know, sometimes JP are just absolutely going mad at me no matter how good or bad I did. And it's been actually really good to sit on the hill and watch races because what they say, and, you know, there's heaps of stuff obviously going around at the moment, but, you know, sitting on the hill and being able to watch every car, watching Clay per view is great if you want to watch the leaders, but you don't learn nothing.
Yeah.
I actually almost think it'd be beneficial for every driver to have a buy round in the year and watch a race because you learn so much. And you can see, you know, like I said, I sat on the hill and learned. You know what? Dane and Callum are doing such a better job than every other car. And it's simple. Like it's, whether that's me, my car and equipment's just as good or you know, same as theirs. And to watch what they do, car position, they're already 10 steps ahead when they get to lap traffic. Don't get me wrong, they both got good race cars. Some not, you know, Callum's like left hand down driving around the wall. And I'm sitting there going, if that was me, and I actually talked to Taylor Milling about this. I'm like, if that was me or you, we would have got it right for 6 laps, but we would have sucked the front end in the fence for one of them to do that. They just, and everyone goes, Callum's putting his car on the edge. And I said, yeah, but he's done that for 5 years. Tell me one time that he's actually crashed from just running the wall. Yep. He's either crashed because he's rode a wheel but actually just running the wall. I can't remember the last time I seen him, like in WA, obviously.
He never climbs it.
Yeah, mate, I've asked Buzz about when he called Tony Hawked it with sparks coming out the bottom. And when he helped me one night, it's just, honestly, it's been really good to watch and learn. So as a part of me is like, haven't been in the car. I have been training from the end of last season all the way to now. So as far as getting in the car, I'm ready to go. I actually think it's going to be beneficial. I've got a clear head. Work's good at the moment. We're all set up to what we need to do to Christmas. And I just want to get my head down and do a good job. Jake was here today, mounting a GoPro after work before we went to the gym because he's like, we need to make sure your hands are slow enough, to qualify. That's one thing that I need to work on. And, it's just one of those things we need to keep trying. And I think watching should help. So I don't think it's just car setup. Our car's generally in the same window probably that those guys' cars are in. I just think they're doing a better job. Look, and you look at where Dane was 5 years ago to now, it's night and day. He looks like he's been doing it for 20 years.
I remember even just talking to Dane at that dirt track, he was saying he watched Callum in one of those dashes, when he just, and he was like, looked at Matty Cocker and was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Callum's dashes are some of the most impressive driving you could ever see because it's right when that track is just tailor-made for him.
Correct.
And he just sucks it onto the wall. Like even that last one, he got relegated. Taylor got to the front. He got to the front lap 1 and was just gone.
Yeah.
Like, when you're watching those races back, first thing, do you look at it and go, geez, that is fast? And then who does your eye get drawn to watch the most?
So I don't think watching back does it. So now that I got to sit on the hill and see what the boys see, I don't think watching it back, because that, I think it would have been King of Wings. I walked away from there and I don't know if it's always looks like that, but I'm like, mate, that was a fast paced race. There was a lot going on. I think Taylor went from 3rd to 12th or something in 3 laps when I was watching. It was, obviously J-Mac had gone back to 8th, I think. Yep. But it all happened so quick.
Yep.
And I was like, and if someone sort of made a move or you went to make a move and made a bad decision, 4 cars went past. I don't remember a time it's probably been that bad. And I don't know whether the pace has got quicker. The reality is everyone's got better. Everyone's equipment's better. If I did the job, say last year, 5 years ago, probably would have won races here and there. But now, no chance. I remember probably one of the hardest ones I ever had was right when Callum was in that window where he was sort of starting to run the wall and get dominant. It was probably 4 years ago, I reckon, 4 or 5 years ago. And we were at Kwinana and, he was, on the wall. And then I was, on the wall doing probably a better job than I've ever done. And I slid him for the lead and did nearly another whole lap. And then Daniel Harding got stuck in the fence off turn 4. We pull up on and I had passed him and was half a straightaway within a lap. And I was and we were 2-3 laps from the end. Then I can't remember if they declared it or we only had green, white checker after that. You're not going to pass Callum in clean air. But he was wrecked. He was he had his helmet off on the red. He was right in front of me, pulled up. And he was wore out. And I was fine. And that's probably one of the ones where I was I really drove hard that night. I really drove hard that night to try to do a good job. And that's probably a hard one where I feel gave it an easy one. Well, I don't think I gave it away because I think I'd done the right job, just circumstantial. You're going to have races. If you're there all the time, I guess you're going to have races that go both ways with that. And the simple fact is we haven't been there enough for that to happen. So where we're on the other side of that, where you might get lucky.
With that, just to go back on the standard, I was talking to some guys, and the local champ, Dane, at the moment, I'm not sure too many people have gone head to head with Kerry Madsen and J Mac twice in a row and beaten them both times at two different tracks. Like that's the guy that's leading the local domestic championship. Like he beat him, caught and passed both of them at the Motorplex, and then did the same at Tolmart. Like that's the guy who everyone's trying to beat just locally. Yeah, like that's the standard now.
I guess, and I can only go off my own experience here. Going over east is a big feat. Like, it's a lot to learn. So, like I said about Mount Gambier, telling yourself to slow down, to go quicker. I remember my first time trial lap at Mount Gambier. I'm driving around. I'm like, we are so tight, and I'm trying to drive it harder to free it up, but it actually got worse. So it's a weird thing to tell yourself, but for some reason, it's the opposite to what you do at Kwinana. And yeah, we went there, but going to Tolma, I loved it. Like, I went to Tolma. To be honest, qualifying heat race was pretty fast, and I was there. And then I didn't qualify very good, so I was in the B. Passed a heap of cars in the B, got in the show, and then I went from 20. I just made it, so I went 24th got to 12th with like 10 or so laps to go. And like there, if you go from past 10 cars, like you're moving. And I got together with, I think, Will Carroll coming out of the corner, bent the front end. So I raced the whole rest of the feature with a bent front end and finished right behind Dane. That's probably the track that relates the most to Kwinana. Yeah. Like, honestly, when that got on the fence, it probably doesn't build as much. Well, when I was there, 1 and 2 didn't have a big ledge. So if you were having a crack, honestly, you could have ended up in the wall pretty easily. But it's got so much banking that you go in and almost wide open when it's slick, and it pulls you around. But you got to have you got to have the nuts to commit. Because there was some of the times in the B, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm going 50 mile an hour more than I did the lap before, just entering on the top here. But it's probably, like I said, I think that shows that Dane's good at those tracks, and Callum was up there as well. Yep. But then you go to, Warrnambool, maybe a little bit similar if the track's right. But you go to Avalon, and then it'll be a different story. Your Veerleys or Jock or whatever. They race on that every week. So I guess he beat those guys on, I think, the same type of track, which I think really suited. And I was like, I cheered as much as I race against Dane. He's a good, he's just a good bloke. He's just a guy, like, we pit next to each other, for the last few years, or pretty much since he's been in the cricket car, we're next to each other. So, we often will have a chat through the night. I've had a fair few run-ins with him as well, with, whether it's Dane or Matt and, things over the years. But, by a week later, we're over it. It's what I am anyway. But I just get along with him good. And, I think it probably best suited him as well.
So with that then, the state title this weekend coming in fresh, like what's exciting you? Like, you've had the time out of the seat. Are you just keen to get in the seat? You want to qualify? Like, what's exciting you to get back into the seat?
I want to get there Wednesday, knock that bit of rust off if there is any, and then I really want to try and, my goal honestly is to try put some qualifying laps to start the night, because that's probably one thing last year, that we might be within the same 10th as, I had a group at Speedway, and I was like 9th. J-Mac was 8th. And to quick time in our group was a 10th quicker. That's like nothing.
Yeah.
But that's how close. And if you were in that wrong group, obviously Speedway was probably not a good example of that, where you could end up every car and it's hard. So, but I feel like the qualifying has stepped up again this year. So I feel like it's whether that could be the track or everyone's on similar stuff now as well. So we've tried a couple of little things with our engine. So we'll see Wednesday whether that's helped or not. And then ultimately if we can try and I just want to. I'm not going there to go, hey, we're just going to go around do some laps, because realistically, I'm not in a championship. I'm not in anything. We want to go there to do a good job, whether that's podium or win a race or try and run top 5. Obviously, at the moment, there's guys that can run 3rd and then run 15th the week after, just because of how close. I think that. Like I said, I believe Dane and Callum are that 5% better at the moment. But then 3rd I do believe 3rd to 15th is nothing. But that's the difference where I think watching and seeing what they do, I think Callum's dashes, like you said, don't know if I've got the ambitions to just do that every dash, but even if you're behind him, we're like, okay, win the dash. Like he'll do that. He's just, but then he'll go to the feature and Neron do that for 30 laps. But for some reason, the dash, he'll literally smash everyone by half a lap. So I think he just gets in that groove and he can just hit that mark lap after lap. So I'm looking forward to just seeing, what we can do. Hopefully we pick up where I mean, we weren't, we were all right at the end of the year. I think we ran 4th or 5th on the last night. Probably, again, should have done a little bit better job that night. But, we were all right. We weren't terrible. So I guess just to pick up where we left off and improve on that, and hopefully our car's in the window. Obviously, everyone's talking about this new tyre and we haven't been on it yet. So we're keen to see what that does as well. We may end up running them at practice just to kind of get our head around it.
Do you get nervous? Like,
No.
You've just done it enough?
No, I think I used to. It used to be pretty bad. Like, you do get nervous. And even when you get nervous, by the time you flick the switch, it's, you pretty much forget about it pretty quickly. I think it used to, especially the earlier days of sprint car racing, I'd get nervous, probably World Series. You didn't race with them guys all year back then. They didn't really come here for Speed Week or...
Yep.
So you get to World Series and you're like... We had nights when David helped me. I think might have been Bunbury. We were in gold or bronze dashes a few of those nights. I remember when I was sponsored by Sea-Doo, and I think I started out of 3 at Bunbury, and was pretty decent. And then got the wall out of turn 2 first lap, just driving too hard. Got the wall. Next minute, I can't remember what happened. I went to the rear and then we went into turn 1. I was literally at the back and I'm like, you're at Bunbury, pretty hard to come through the field now. And that's when Bunbury was pretty much around the wall. And it was like Mikey Rimmer was prepping the track and it was unreal. It started almost racing like Kwinana. Went to the back. Chris went in first call and Chris Cole broke a radius shot or something there because he had been in a bingle or something. Oh, that's right. I spun out. So I had to go to the rear. So then he breaks a radius shot, and I'm just going in just be cautious, restart, you're last. Went in, he's broke right. This thing his car just spat hard right, and I've just turned and went straight backwards into the bar at Bunbury, and pierced the fuel tank with. So everyone, and it was actually didn't feel like that bad of a crash. I think because the fence. So I'm probably the culprit for why they got a new fence now. So you can thank me for that. But everyone's screaming in the bar, and it's probably in hindsight the worst place you want to crash because everyone's full of piss in the bar.
Yeah.
So you don't want to. You're either gonna, if you're not you're getting out, and they're just gonna take the piss out of you. And it's the fastest part of the track, I reckon, going in turn 1 with everyone at Bunbury. Feels like you're going twice as fast at Kwinana but you're not. So we and because I went in backwards into the pole. Where you get out of the car, I was in the net of the fence. So unless people cut or pulled the fence out, I couldn't get out of the car. The whole car caved into the netting of the fence. So there was no way you were you can't really, the way the panels are, you're not getting out of the right hand side. The wing was crushed. It was a big crash. And then we went from there, put another car together next week, and we were in the gold shootout again at World Series. And I remember though that gold shootout Kwinana, you get a little bit nervous, but David was helping me. And my car from the minute it was a CS9, but a longer wheelbase car, which I bought off Monty's. They'd only ran it a couple of times in Darwin, and the car when it was in the right window, awesome. But I felt like if the car wasn't right, it wasn't a great car. And I only ever really ran it 3 times and went really good with it, but then. For some reason, just went away with it because I felt like it wasn't, if it wasn't right, it wasn't a good car to have. So, that night, I remember the gold shootout was awesome. We were literally around the wall. I don't know where I was on points, but started at a 3 again. And then that night was probably on to be a decent result. And then it went rubber down. I'd never been on rubber down before. And I went back as quick as everyone was driving forward. And I'll never forget it. I was and I don't know why I struggle with rubber down. in my head, I think you got to save the tire, but I think it's actually worse because I watched last year, like some stuff last year. I'm like, these guys aren't really slowing down that much. Like, I think as I'm slowing down, I'm leaning on my right rear more and I'm wearing it out more. But I actually probably need to keep the wheel turning so it's not rolling under and having so much grip. So I, to this day, don't have my head around rubber down. So hopefully we don't get many of them again.
What's your ideal track then? Like,
I love slick race tracks.
Slick race
yeah,
track.
big time. Love it. Slick race track. I love when it's got 2 lanes too. Like as much as I do enjoy driving around the wall, but I think there's nights. Like there was a night, would have been the Barbagallo year before last. I think the timing system actually played up. I think I started out of maybe like 13 or something. Well, I went from. And that was when the bottom, like if you watched it, the bottom would start opening up. And what I was doing was a bit sketchy. Like if you got it right, big reward. If you missed the bottom or whatever, you were in trouble. You could, just get loose or whatever because it was very marbly. It only just started opening up. A couple of cars were running down there. I went from 13th and the timing system stuffed up. So they actually thought I was a lap car. I went from 13th, got to 2nd. And this is a Barbagallo race, and I'm reeling like Jock's gone from leading. I'm reeling him in massively, and I'm on the bottom. He's pounding the wall, of course. It's Jock, and I got past Dane. I got past Brad Mayolo. Like a lot of good cars. They were all racing each other, and I think Dane joked about it. Like Andrew had come from nowhere, and then he was gone because I passed him. Then literally, I was looking, and I'm like, I'm catching Jock here. Like this is a big race. And honestly, we would at that point of the race, and then we would have been the quickest car. And I'd passed Lockie McHugh doing it at the bottom, and he actually ended up winning the race, I think, on the bottom, or got close to winning the race, basically doing what I did when I passed him. So, and then I ended up, got to 2nd, and I spun out on my own and went to the back. Like I was gutted that night because it was like, it was a hard one. It was a hard one to, I guess, swallow because it was like the best guys were here. To go from 13th, drove to 2nd. It was probably only half race distance. We had plenty of time to go.
Yeah.
There's been, I guess they're the times that have probably been, whether or not you learn from that and there's so much to take. But I enjoy when those guys come. Like it's, people say, to take money away or get so much harder, but you don't get better by right. I mean, now our quality is quite high, so it's probably a little bit different now. But go back 5 years ago, you didn't get better by racing WA guys every week. You got better by those guys rocking up, whether it was Brooke Tatnells or whatever. It's just one of those things. You just got to keep chipping away and try and prove.
So obviously, just a massive Speedway family. Obviously, your brother, your dad, all that. What was your first class? You junior sedan? I know you did the Formula 500. Sort of, what did you first start off in?
So I actually started in go-karts. My first go-kart, myself and Jace, my brother Jason, are about nearly 2 years apart. And my first go-kart, we went halves in with our birthday or christening money or something probably. Went halves in a go-kart and he raced it and I would do some practices in it. And then I remember Dad, organised this kart for us to go home. David and Michael racing go-karts at the time, my older brothers. And then it's like, we'll get this. Jason's going to race it. And then, you do a few practices. I'm like, okay, no worries. I think I did 1 or 2 practices. Like I barely raced it. And then I don't know what happened. Jason I don't know whether he stopped for a little bit. And then, time had went past, and then I ended up getting another kart and went race rookies, which is probably, ages 10 to 12, so around there. I remember you could ride a push bike to a go-kart shop from near my house. It was at Northlands Kart Centre or something. And I had my eye on this kart. It was like the second-hand kart of the kid that used to win. And all I wanted was the roller. And back then, I didn't think any of it. Like, you need the engine to win the race. But I was like, I'll get a second-hand engine. But that's a good car. I like the look of it. And then I never really did anything in go-karting. But we also never, put the effort in or the money in to do. Like like I said, we did it with our birthday money. Me and Jason bought a cart halves. That time I bought that cart on my own, but it was about, you know, go to work with my dad. My dad had a petrol station at the time. Go there on a Saturday morning to stack some newspapers, and if I did that, he'd, you know, tell me I can go up on my scooter and get a ham cheese toasty for me and him on a Saturday morning, and then wash some windows when the cars came in. You know, that was how I got my fuel for my go-kart. Like, I had to go to work with Dad on a Saturday morning, you know, at 5 o'clock stacking newspapers. Looking back, it was an average job Dad was giving me, but you know, put the oils out. They used to have the, you know, cars burnt oil back then, so they'd have the litre bottles of oil, put them out, you know, fill the windscreen washer bottles up to clean everyone's windows, and they come in. And that's what I did. Like, it wasn't, you know, Dad going here, you know, you look at David, my brother David's boy Cruz now, like doing really well with go-karting, but he's probably got, you know, probably had 10 engines. He's probably had 10 go-karts. He's racing every week. We don't, and I guess David's doing that because that's not how we did go-karting when we were a kid. And my mum jokes about it now. She'd be like, David's just living through a cruise. But he loves it. Like, David's so passionate about it. I mean, he stopped his own racing because he's like, you know what, these years with my boy, I'm not going to get back if I can do that and travel the world. Like, they fly out tonight, actually, tomorrow night to Macau to race there, and he raced in Italy, I don't know, maybe a month ago. So it's one of those things. You sort of get to a point where it's like, you know, how far do you go with it? And I guess if his boy's enjoying it, if Cruz is enjoying it, do it. But it's a massive, even back then, it was still a massive cost to go to that level, to be competitive or whatever. It was probably cheaper back then. You know, if you had a good kart, good engine, one of each, you could win a race here. I didn't really have all that. So, and then funny story actually. A few years had gone past, and me and my brother Jason were there one day, and we go to my mum, hey mum, what happened to our go-kart? Like, we sold the go-kart, but I've never seen, we were like 10, 12 years old. Don't even know how I thought about this. I'm like, whatever happened to the money for that go-kart? Oh, I don't know. I'll ask Dad tonight. I'm sure it's there or whatever. Anyway, we get home, we're having dinner, and like, religiously, regardless how busy my dad does, I still remember as a kid, like 6 o'clock dinner. We had dinner as a family. So we're sitting there and we're like, yeah, what happened to that? Mum's like, oh, what happened to that trailer? And Dad goes, oh. And then at the time, David and Michael were racing, my older brothers were racing junior sedans. So by this point, I think they weren't racing go-karts anymore. They were racing junior sedans. And then Dad had obviously, you know, built some trailers and stuff for the cars. And then Dad goes, oh, well, what we'll do, Andrew, you and Jason, you can own half each of the car trailer. I said, hang on, we're going to own half the car trailer that the David and Michael use to go race their juniors.
Good deal.
I'm like, it sounds good. I think in hindsight, it was probably good because we got good money for the trailer after we sold it. But you know what? Those things still to this day, like a lot of people, I think, I don't know if misconception is the right word. A lot of people look at going, oh, you know, so I've got nice cars or engines or my truck. I've had to work for all that. Like, it's my mum and dad haven't. My dad was racing himself, so he can't, you know, my mum and dad can't fund 4 of us boys to go race sprint cars. So myself, David, all of us boys, and honestly, it's probably the biggest thing I thank my parents for as well. Because I think there's a lot of kids out there that, and hey, I'm the opposite now. I probably spoil my kids more than I should, but it's taught me so much. Like, I can honestly look back, and then, like I said, there's other guys out there and their dad buys them engines and cars, and they just don't have the respect that I probably have for other people's equipment, my own equipment. Yes, we want to race hard at times, but no one, you know, if I wreck it or blow a motor, no one else is paying for it. Like, I'm doing that. So, I owe my parents massive amount for not doing too much for me, because it taught me more than if they did all that for me. And whether that's been with business, you know, with anything I've done, it hasn't been like, here, you know, we'll help you out and get started. It's like I went and, you know, stopped. I mean, my first road car, I was racing junior sedans. So after go-karting, I went to junior sedans, and then, went to junior sedans and thought, oh, well, stick at this for a bit. And then my brother Jason had built a new car. Back then, Dave Headington used to build a lot of junior sedans. He built a new car, but it just had like a standard engine in it. And we would go, Jason had stopped, so I bought that car. And then I was sort of like, oh, we're going okay. But not like, we're ticking off race meetings here. We're not doing anything special. And then it was sort of around that time where it got real competitive. Like, all I was asking my dad for was, Dad, can we just at least put a cam in this thing? Like, putting a diff in a junior sedan with different diff gears or a cam was actually a big thing. Yeah. And that's all I wanted. I didn't want to, I don't need a brand new engine or whatever. And I'm talking, like, I was, as a kid, I don't know why, whether it was whatever, but I've always got along with older people. So, like, I always got along good with Rick Geneve, even though I was a young kid. And Rick Geneve has a little, like a dyno centre in Osmond Park. And on a Friday night, there'd be a line of 10, 12 junior sedans. There'd be, I'm not even kidding, like dyno runs Friday night to race Saturday. There'd be, those people like Stephen Conti was good then, Dane Kingshot, Carl Dowling. I can't remember, like Bombacks used to have really good engines and cars. Mate, they'd all be there doing dyno runs to get the fine tune for the Saturday night. Anyway, so a few years went by, and like I said, I've always been close with Rick. A few years went by, and I got a little bit older, so he's like, it's probably okay to tell him this now. And we're having a few drinks one night, obviously pretty pissed, and he's like, he goes, I can probably tell you this now, but that time when all you wanted was a cam? I said, yeah. He goes, so we've ended up rebuilding this motor, whatever. So this thing was meant to be like insane. They're like, look, just you might be a lot quicker than what you were, whatever, just be careful. Anyway, I go out and I'm driving my butt off. Like, I got to the point, I was like, look, I want to work. I want a nice first car. I knew I had to buy my own first car. And I'm like, I want something nice. I'm going to go work. So I went and got a job I was still racing junior stands when I started it. And I got a job at Supercheap. And then I'd work there, like, leave school, get there at 3:30, work till 6 every day, whether it was stock and shells. By the end of it, I guess because I grew up around cars, most people around them shops aren't very mechanically minded. So, it was almost like I was half running the place at 15. I think I was like I had the most knowledge out of anyone there. And, it got to the point where I was like, I'm just ticking off race here, we get nowhere. So, anyway, me and Rick on the piss one night, Rick turns around and goes, hey, you know how all you wanted was a cam? I said, yeah. And mind you, these things had like 50 horsepower. Like, it was nothing, right? He goes, so you know you did the motor, you actually lost 4 horsepower from standard. So I said, hang on, you're telling me that we lost, because it had been on his dyno before that. He goes, you lost. So I said, no wonder I was still shit.
Yeah.
And I remember one night, like end of the straight, John O'Call drove me straight into the wall just because it was going that much quicker than me. I'm like, no wonder I was struggling. This motor had nothing.
It's 10%.
Yeah. Like, you look back now, it was a lot. Like, I'm talking, these guys are at a dyno Friday nights trying to find half a horsepower. And it was, it was probably just, I want to say Todd Waddell was maybe when I got started. Like, some of them guys, it was ridiculous. Like, Todd was one of the only ones maybe in a front wheel drive, but then a lot of people was rear wheel drive back then.
What did Todd have in that thing?
Oh, I don't know. I thought he'd be a bit more honest on the potty, but...
Well, I had a line set up that he got the drive in that supercharged Outlaw because they just took the engine from his junior sedan and put it straight in that thing.
Yeah.
I forgot to say it.
Yeah, mate, it was
3 titles in a row. Todd, tell us
honestly,
what you had.
it was unbelievable. Like, even another one was Rob Adley. I remember Rob Adley's dad was doing all the fiberglass bonnets for all of our cars. Yep. And I remember, I think I gave him shit about it not long ago. I'm like, I reckon he's designed on purpose. So he'd do like lightweight panels. So halfway through the race, the panels would blow off the car. So, and you didn't get sent infield if you didn't have side panels on. You still have all your safety stuff. So he's I don't know if Rob won an Australian title or won second or something like that. I remember he come in, he had no panels on the car. The sides were blew off it.
Extra lightweight.
Yeah, extra lightweight, and they were gone. There was nothing left. But I remember back then, to say lose 4 horsepower, whether they gain 4 or gain whatever. It was a big difference.
Well,
like,
it's 50 horsepower. It's like,
it was a lot.
That's huge.
Yeah, and even Todd to do what he did, and then like I remember they did probably better in their sprint car and stuff with the budget they had than what they should have back then. And he probably would. I think he pretty much touched on that. Like I remember as a kid, him in that yellow Decandelo, even speed car, like they might have had a good motor, but it wasn't like nowhere near some of what the other guys had. And Todd was like batting above his average kind of thing. And then it was funny actually. Todd, when Todd went to that door slammer thing, my brother Jason had his business. Jason started his sign shop at like 16, so he ended up stopping that. And I don't know whether, I'm pretty sure him and Todd were maybe mates, and then Todd let him know, hey, they're looking for a sign writer, like full time. So mind you, we're talking, there's, I want to say 5 or 6 B-double trucks. Every one of them's wrapped front to back. Every car's wrapped, like whatever needed to be done between weeks. So Jason's full-time job, he ended up moving to Queensland, living with Todd.
Really?
And during that period. And then he would literally, and Jason still says this day, like, you know, Brett Stevens, who he worked for, he's like one of the best bosses I ever had. Like he was actually ripper guy, like to work for. You know, it was obviously, you know, a short stint when he was out. I don't know whether he was there a year, but he would, I think Jason worked a little bit on Todd's car at the track. Obviously you're not stickering at the track, but they were living together. I think they would have had some good times. And between them, like Todd said about couldn't use the washing machine, guarantee Jason would have been no better because he'd still be the same. Get him to cook your dinner, but definitely you wouldn't do your washing. But yeah, so it's funny how the whole circle.
It's the same circle.
It's the same circle. Like it's weird. You know, whether I was a kid, he actually joked about it. You're going to bring it up? I said, like when I was a kid, me and Brad Mayolo would run around 2 trees because Jamie was racing, my dad was racing. We were at Claremont, you couldn't go in the pits. Like it was a closed pit area. We were too young. So we were never in the pit area. We were just watching with mum and that come after school. And, you know, there's still to remember all that. It's awesome.
What about, how were you as like a kid racing? Like were you just going through the motions? Were you competitive? Like what like obviously now you go out to win and do your best. Is that how you always been?
I think I always mentally like wanted to do it, but I was always I don't want to say professionalism, but as a kid, I don't know why. Whether it's from my dad's always been the same, right? What he did for sponsors. I remember one of my last years in junior sedans, I was like, my car was immaculate. So I don't know if I've got a photo somewhere here. My car might be somewhere in the drawer here. My car was, I don't know what I've done with it. My car was, immaculate. And I remember we got to the end of the year and I'm like, amount of sponsors that I think we made money this year. Like I had the growers market down the road. My mum used to go to the corner shop, you know, the hair joint that my dad knew the owner of around the corner. Some had like Westwide Financial Services, which was like a mate of my dad's who did like manage your super or manage your finances and how to invest. Had him on board. So whenever I'd see some of my dad's mates, just hit him up, another 500 or give it. I had a proposal. I don't know what I've done with it. And I've still got it because I laugh at it when I open it. And I still laugh at it now because I'm like back then you're dreaming now you're going to get sponsors and have profit at the end of the year. But I remember back then I was a kid and I was like, by the time I paid all my nomination and ran the car, it was pretty cheap to run a junior the way I was running. I wasn't putting diffs in every week and whatever. So I think...
Is that what some people were doing, diffs every week?
I'm telling you, like you talk to Dane Kingshaw or Carl Dowling's a big one. His dad loves engines. If you know Carl's dad, loves engines. Whether it's his truck, his race car, loves engines. He owns the motors that are in Rico's car when he comes over. And they obviously help Rico when he's here. And people like Carl Dowling, even though they weren't 360s or 410s, qualify, like
I reckon he had the lap record at Motorplex for ages.
He would have, like he'd go to Sydney, quick time, their motors were good. Like he had a good motor package. Whether they were good as a night went on, I don't know. But Carl was a good sprint car driver too. Like he raced formulas. These guys would be, depending on what track they're at, they would change diffs, like whether they're going to Allenbrook, whether they're going, like diff change, and it's it's not like diff gears in a sprint car. If you bolt,
Nah.
you're pulling the whole diff
diff.
out the car. Yeah, they'd have them in like they'd have, and gearboxes was another one. I think they used to do stuff with the gearboxes. Mate, you're dreaming. You're lucky if I had the one in the car. I remember we had this bright idea. We needed to get more cold air into my juniors today, and my dad obviously had a mechanical shop and petrol station, so it was like school holidays, and I'm there, and I've made this. I think I'd been to Dave Headington's maybe in the school holidays a bit and sort of been around, just get me making it. I'd spend 2 weeks making a dash for my car because I wanted the switches to look nicer, not how do we get this thing to go faster. I just made it look better.
Half the battle.
Yeah, and then I've met my dad's workshop. I was like, what are you doing? I've made this front aluminium plate underneath the bonnet, got 2 like creeper crawly tubes, like someone riveted them on the front of this plate, and I had them going up to the air cleaner. Wouldn't have done nothing. But like at the time, I was like, I need cold air into this motor.
Got him.
Lucky if I had back then probably had a Ryco field. I wouldn't have even had a K&N. But I've got a like creeper crawly air intake. I think it lasted about 2 races. It was gone. But just things like that. Like I look back now and it was fun times. Like it was good.
When was your first like step up? When was the first time like that it would have, put you on the trajectory to where you are now? Like, was it the Formula 500s?
Yeah, Formulas, yeah. So, again, same bloke, Rick Geneve, he still to this day gives me shit about it because, so I was done. Like, when I bought my road car and I went, no, I'm not going racing.
What was this road car?
What was my first road
SS,
car?
I reckon.
Nah, SV6, you're close. It was like VZ, so I was... Mate, I got my license in 07, 08. It was a pretty new car.
Yeah, right.
I reckon I paid 22 or 23,000 for it. But, go back. We're talking...
After you made money in the junior cements.
But that was probably more super cheap at the time. Any, like, Easter, public holiday, I was there. I made sure I was working because all I cared about was making money. And working, I didn't care about anything else. Missing lunch at Nunna's. No, I can make... back then you were getting... $12 and on a public holiday you're getting 30.
Yeah.
Super cheap's looking at it, you're the cheapest bloke to get to work. And I'm looking at it, mate, $30 an hour instead of 12. I'm working. That's 3 days work that you're getting out of one. And no one comes in, so it's quiet and you're doing well, we would end up packed stocking shelves or doing whatever, but you weren't working that hard. We obviously, so I'd say we sort of got to the point where it was like I didn't race for a while, and then Jason was like I said, living with he was living with Todd in Queensland, but he was still racing Formula 500s. So I actually built his car here 1 year, and he was going to do Speedway. Speedway was a pretty big thing for formulas in Victoria. Like it was huge. Americans would come, whatever. So I built his car, got it all ready. Then I think he did 1 race here and sent it over. And then I was helping him. That's all. I was happy doing that. Didn't care about anything else. And then they sort of started, Mark House has got this car. Mark House still races formulas now. Great guy. Like his crew chief's his deck chair that he puts his helmet on and grabs it. Like he does everything on his own. So we were like, he goes, he's got this car. Like when he bought his P&P from America, he got a spare car with it and he's thinking about selling it. So anyway, I was like, I don't really want to race. Not at this point, I was about 20, I want to say 21. So it'd been a fair few years I hadn't raced, and it was like, we'll go there, have a look. Went there one night, and I'm going apparently he wanted like $4,000 for this thing. I'm like, no, if he doesn't take 3,800, I'm not buying it. So Rick still to this day goes, do you remember you said if he didn't take 3,800 for this car and he wanted 4, you weren't buying it? I said, yeah, it would have saved me a fucking lot of money. So he still loves it. He's like, now look at you dickhead. Like,
$200.
Yeah. Like, and looking back now, like, honestly, I think I paid probably 3.5 and he gave me that much stuff. I mean, in the end, once I got the car, then I bought a lot more from America.
Yeah.
By then I started my business at 18. So I was pretty young when I started my business. So by then, I could have, I was working at a home at the start and then I was renting an office and it sort of got to the point, like I could afford to go racing, but I didn't have an interest. Didn't have an interest in racing, but I was enjoying working on it, a little bit like my brother Michael. Even now, like I love working on him. So we were like, then I got a car and I bought a motor from America. Back then, I want to say it was $1.03 US.
Yep.
So you imagine, like I'm buying for motor was 9,000 American. You're paying 9,000.
Yeah.
Like almost landed 9.5. It was insane. So going back now, like if it was that cost now, there'd probably be way more competitors, or it's probably good things that keeps the value of your stuff up. At the same time, you need to find a lot more money. I remember when Brady's first did their stuff with Buzzy. Buzzy put all their team together, and him, Sheldon, and Nathan built cars. I think a brand new KRE was like 62,000, like Australian. So it was almost dollar for dollar. Now it's my last two were 125 or something. So you imagine the difference, but it's relative. Like my second-hand engine that I bought for 35, you look after it good, it's still worth 70 at the end or whatever, if it's fresh, obviously. But like it's funny to look back now to think that, but I've always taken pride in that. And obviously when I went to junior stands, the first year, I think I won a feature actually my first year. And I remember it was, we went to like Calabarin in an off season, raced there a little bit. And then I was like built up to it. I did one practice at the end of the year. And I remember the night before I went to my first practice, I sat in it at my dad's workshop. That's where I built the car back then. And I was like, no, I can't do this. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm dead set claustrophobic. If you reckon a sprint car or a wingless doesn't have room, go cram your legs in a Formula. Like, the motor is half in the car. Your legs are squeezed. You start in the middle of the car. Your legs are over there.
Yeah, right.
It's like you ask anyone that races, you get used to it. Like by the time I drove it a couple of times. Anyway, then I'm driving. I didn't put it in third gear, so I'm on the limiter for 2 sessions driving around. So we did that year, and then that sort of escalated a little bit. Then I built a trailer, started racing a little bit more. Went to the next year, bought a motor. Then the next year, I went really well from the start of the year. Like from the minute the season started, I was good. I think I won both championships. Back then there was a Kwinana Championship and a West Coast Series. It's still the same now, but it was pretty tough. Like a West Coast Series was pretty hard to win as well. And I love doing them. Like we've had some of our best memories with the boys, like some of my mates from school and whatever that used to help me, driving the country. We used to love it. We'd go there the night before and, really enjoy ourselves. But I went really well. Like we just enjoyed what we're doing. The first year, like I said, the second year in Formulas, won both championships, best and fairest, won the state title. Everything, I guess, clicked and came together that year. And it was awesome times looking back. And then obviously the year after stepped up again. The Australian Championship was going to be in WA. So this is my third year at Kwinana, and there was 75 cars, I remember, for the Australian title. So people like Matt Brown, Jason Pride was racing Formulas. Obviously, Jason Pride had pretty successful businesses, so he sort of got behind it. It's like, we need to get money on this race. So it was 10 grand to win, and then I think 5,000 to win. I don't know if they still do it, but it was called the Bunny Burrows Memorial at Narrogin, and then they were going to run that on the Sunday after. So if people came over from over east, they could run Kwinana. The Sunday after was Narrogin, and the following week was a state title in Geraldton. Kalgoorlie, people could get on, like stop on the way home back to whatever, Victoria or whatever. So I remember that third year, like they actually built my truck that JD Dax got now, and then that was the first truck I went sprint cars. So I built that, and I had 2 cars at the start of the year. I'm like, this is my Kwinana car. This is my country car. The country car we're going to send on a pallet to go over east and race Summer Speedway. So that year we went, like I had a car over there, and I remember I left the car here. I would do like 2 nights of Speed Week in Victoria, and then all I cared about was at that time the championships and stuff here. I'm like, if I miss one night, your whole season's done. So I flew there. I'd come back, do like King of Wing. What's it? Christmas. The
500s is not my wheelhouse.
No, same now. Like sprint car muster. Right?
Okay.
So like I'd come back, race that race. I mean, looking back now, it's Formulas, right? It was insane. Like I think I did 30 something races that year. I went to Tasmania to race for Marcus Kelly. Also went to Tasmania another year to race for Christian Kelly, no relation. And like the amount of racing I was doing, looking back now, I was like flying everywhere. But it was easy because if I went myself and one crew guy. You don't take three crew guys. You know, I remember the first time I grooved a sprint car tire, I'm like, this has got knobs on it. Like it's twice size to wash, more than twice size to wash. To groove takes half a day. Like this is way harder. What am I doing here? But yeah, that was, I reckon, the year I did that. Raced both. I actually ran, there was like 55 cars, I remember, at Mount Gambier Speedway. That was the first night I raced. And it was like on the wall. It was on the wall with a ledge. Like it was the night, if you could find it, watch the race back. I remember Brad Sweet in sprint cars went from the B main. I don't know what happened. It was in the B main. He won the B main, went from like nearly the back. And I think he went from the back of the A main and either won or ran second. It was unbelievable, like around the wall. So in a formula, like if you get a ledge on the wall in a sprint car, you can drive around on it. In a formula, if you drive over it, you're like on a 45-degree angle driving around. Me and I think it was Charlie Brown might have won that night. We were like both on top of this wall, and I've ended up running second at this race. And it was really competitive. So I've never raced on tracks like that. Had a wicked time doing it. Good mate now, Dylan Wilshire, helped me out a lot, gave me a little truck to use. So we've had some like ripper times like that. And then the following year we went back, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm doing Speedway, got my truck. I took 2 cars with me. Took 2 cars with me, went away. Back then, like, who has a truck in formulas?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's
like, I built it all myself though. Like I bought this cab chassis, UD, got back. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to learn how to weld. Me and Rick Geneve built this truck together. We built this truck, fridge panel aside, like got it all done. And then I ended up refitting it when I went to sprint cars inside, but had 2 formulas in it, spare engine carbons. It was like, imagine a sprint car. Like it's honestly like my Transporter now, imagine for a formula. Like I went away with a spare roller, spare engine in the cupboard, doing all that. But you had to, because if you're going all that way, if I heard an engine, Stephen Bell wasn't my engine builder in town. My engine builder was in America. Yeah. So, and looking back, it was pretty cheap to buy engines back then for a formula. Like I was pretty much the dealer for Seros engines here for a period. I sold a lot of motors for him, and honestly, I reckon I was landing them for like 10 grand ready to race.
And now they're like 65, 70.
Oh, it got out of hand at my last year. So
what, that quickly? It got out of hand in like 3-4 years.
It got to a point where it was like they were going to go fuel injection, and they did, which was my last year. And it went from my motor being competitive, and then it kind of so my second last year in Formula, so that year I said there was 75 cars at Kwinana. So I had this car. I was like, this is my Motorplex car. This motor will be just for the title. I did one like race with it and then put it away until the title, put it on. Anyway, we've done the first night and I'm high points. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not happy with this engine. We were like 3 teeth out in the gear. Like they got sprockets. So 3 teeth out is a lot in a formula. Like that's normally almost one track to another. So I'm like, why am I 3 teeth different to do the same RPM on this? But you're high points, right? So it's like the motor's running good. Don't second guess it. And it was in the transition where they were also the following year, I think the EFI was coming in, and the 624 engines were going back to, you had to be a 600 engine. So I was like, I had 600 engines. I never had the 624 engine. So you're a little bit disadvantaged with that. Like Mark House was really fast in that. People like Joe O'Keefe, they all had these 624 engines. And it might not sound like much. It's a bit like the junior sedan thing. Around Kwinana, a couple of horsepower is going to make a difference. Oh, yeah. So you don't have 900 in those things. So so I ended up high points. We'd go to the last night, didn't change engines, started on pole, and I ran 3rd. And I remember kicking myself after. Like I kind of, it was hard to run 3rd too. Like it wasn't a good 3rd. Those guys were, sorry, it wasn't Joe Keith. Brock Hallett won. And he had a 624. Yeah, he won the title. And Mark House was second. I still believe Housey should have won because he was the quickest car by a mile, but just didn't make good decisions. But he was really fast. He knocked the front wing off it. And then, so I ran 3rd there, beat myself up, come back to workshop, got the other car, And I must have been that determined. I remember I went to this Bunny Burrows race, 5,000 win, which was a big deal. But that's a lot of money for a formula.
Yeah.
Like, think about, we're racing for 5,000.
It's half an engine.
For what we spend now in sprint cars, 5,000 in a formula is
Yeah.
a lot of money. So I went there, and I'm pretty sure I won every heat, every lap of the main, and did not. And the same competition went to this big race, and I think I didn't lose a race that whole night. It was like I was that determined, to win
Right
that
the wrong.
race. Yeah, and it was funny. Like, right before I went out for the feature as well, Dylan Wilshire had come over for it, and he makes a bet with me. I don't know if it's probably clean enough to put on here, but he basically said to me, "You win this race, and you're taking me to, wherever, to get himself looked after, if you know what I mean." So anyway, so I've won, stand on the top wing. I look over, and he has climbed to the top of the fence at Narrogin. Go on, hurry up, P. He used to call me, he still does, he calls me Pino, which is my dad's name. Hurry up, Pino. We need to get to... Starts with Lang. I'll let you work the rest of it out. Yeah. So I honoured it. I went and dropped him off, went in and paid and walked out. And funny enough, he rings his mum to pick him up.
Oh, my God.
Because his mum lives in Perth. But just people like that, still to this day, I go to race the Classic and he'll help me out.
Yeah.
It gives us someone to watch.
Did he win an Aussie title?
Yeah.
I remember Corey McCulloch was helping him, I reckon.
Yeah, I can't remember if Corey was helping him, but he was, he won Aussie. He had a really good period where he used to have a lot of engine failures, and Dylan was around sort of he's really close with the Hardings. So he had a car, when Hardings won their Aussie title, they had really good motors, really good cars, and he had the same. Then I think he blew up the motor, and he was probably, I remember we went to Tasmania for an Australian title, and I don't think he did a lap or didn't finish a race. Oh. He come in on the hook every single. I didn't really know him then, but then once I met him after when I went away, I was like, "You're the guy that went in on the hook every single race." For an Australian title weekend, you've got a fair few heats and formulas. Yeah. He didn't do a race. He come in on the tow truck or whatever. So, yeah, he's now, like I said, a really good mate of mine. And then he sort of got to a period where he had a really good period. He helped me out a lot when I was over there. He used to have people driving. He was. I don't know if he's my age or a little bit younger, but I remember he'd just want to do stuff. He had 2 cars one year and had Jessica Molden driving it. And then I remember we were at his workshop one day and I'm like, "Man, what are you doing?" He's this guy, if you ever meet him, he's full on. He's got that much energy, wish you had a quarter of it. And I'm like, "Man, what are you doing? It's you're young, this is so expensive. You're trying to run 2 cars. You're pulling your hair out. You're running shit because you're trying to run 2 cars." I'm like, "Just cut it back. You don't need to do it. You're proving nothing." I'm like, and he didn't have much money then. He had a little motorbike business, but he didn't make good money now. Now he works hard and makes money. I think he realizes, going racing's not cheap. He's about to have a kid, so he'll probably realize that's not cheap either. So, but like I said, yeah, he went through a period, and it was actually really good. It was a really good time. I won a Speedway race. Won a Speedway race in my last season in Portland, I think, Victoria. Won that. That was really cool. That year I should have won the Speedway series, and I actually spun out on the last lap thinking in my head, I'm going to win the series, because a guy that I had to beat, something happened to him. So all I had to do was finish top 15. And I remember I drove conservatives that night. I was running 12th, and the track started peeling open, and I hit this hole, and it spun me out. So I lost with a lap to go. I lost the series, so I ended up running 2nd or 3rd. But it was really there was people like Dale Chiletto. Who else was there? There would have been, I don't know if Jai O'Keefe was racing, but there would have been a fair few. James Aronofsky was really good. You probably don't even know who he is, but he was really good Formula guy for many years. And we were top 3 in the series. And I think that year we had New Year's at Dylan Wilshire's workshop. And the 3 of us by about 11 at night were spewing, all 3 of us next to each other. So we're like, well, none of us have a clear advantage because we're all in the same state for tomorrow. So I'm glad those days are finished.
What about with the formulas? Are they fun? Is because for me at the Motorplex, Everyone complains about the wingless being boring, but I feel like the wingless racing's good, but maybe it doesn't sound good. Is the Formula's fun to drive? Because it just looks like a go-kart effectively. Like, sell me on it.
It is. I feel sorry for them still now because they're I feel sorry for Formulas a bit now because I see it. Like, I used to hate it. They always get the track that gets soaked with water before they go out. And they're the hardest cars to get grip. So they got the littlest tyres. It's not easy for them to get around at the best of times. And they, they're obviously, it's one of those things. Kwinana's a big place for a Formula, but if, it still can be good. Like, there was a lot of Formulas. I remember people like Brendan Condren were racing. We had a feature, I reckon we went every lap. He was on the bottom and I was on the wall, and we'd meet in the middle of the straight every lap for like 10, 15 laps. I can't remember if I ended up winning that or him, but there was times where it was 2 lanes. It was good. Looking back now, like, I couldn't go back to it and race at Kwinana. I'd be probably bored.
Yep.
But around a little track, like you go into Mount Gambier or Lang, Darlington was a good track where they had tight corners. Formula's a good fun.
Yep.
Like that stuff they do wingless now, that para stuff,
okay.
that would be good fun.
Yep.
But it got to the point for me at the end, I was like, I had absolute zero desire for sprint cars. I was like, no,
really?
Zero. Said, it's too much money. Like, I saw what my brother was doing to race it at the same, I looked at it, the level I was racing Formulas, to go do that in sprint cars was going to be out of my reach. I was like, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that. So obviously David was racing, and then, it got to the point. So Marcus Kelly, who won an Australian Formula title, he was the first one who, like, people like Cody Taracha and stuff now have Yoshimura engines. He was the first one who started all that. So it got to the point, I think one year I had like, I want to say it was like 23 podiums and one, I want to say like 14 races. It was a lot. Like, I remember looking back, I was like, that's a lot of races. Like, if you look at the other side of my truck in the workshop, it's funny. People going, there's a lot of trophies like that. Yeah, that was my Formula career. That was pretty cheap. And then I got about 10 in sprint cars, and it's cost a lot. So there was like years like that. And I remember I was really close with Marcus Kelly. And he was a lot older than me. He'd won an Australian title the year that I went to Tasmania. And we sort of became close when I went to Tassie, and then sort of kept in touch. Anyway, he was on these motors. Then that year I went and did, that was the year I won the state title here. So we went to go do the Aussie title in Tasmania. I think, looking back, it's a long way in a Formula to take your car.
Yeah.
We went there, the help of people like Christian Kelly. His dad owns Chas Kelly Transport. So he helped us get over there a little bit. Watsons were around. They helped us with freight and stuff as well. So we went there, and I remember there was like 60 cars. We've done practice, and I'm like third and in Formulas you'd have like a practice night. So I'm like, okay, we're like pretty quick. Like, we're good. It was a really good track. It was at Carrick. Anyway, my dad rings me. We're on the way to the track for Aussie title. He goes, remember to finish first. First you must finish. I said, Dad, don't ever say that to me. I went into turn one, and I, like, in Formulas, you look now, I crash a lot in sprint cars. I never crashed in Formulas. Like, very, very rare did I crash in Formulas. So looking back now, I'm like, and then, Dad goes, remember to finish first. So first heat, I am talking front end, rear end, and every component of this car's out of it. I've torn the shit out of this car. And that was the same year I said Dylan Will should come in every race, but I only did it in one race. So I went from like being one of the quicker cars to like, we had a terrible weekend, but I made friends with Marcus Kelly and went back later that year and raced his car. And then we sort of kept in contact. They got to my last year. He's like, hey, like, I want you to run one of these motors. Like, so he bought the motor, and then if I liked it, I was going to buy it off him. Anyway, this Yoshimura, it didn't even have fuel injection, so it was cheaper. I had the carbies. I reckon it was about 40 or 50 grand back then. It was a lot of money, right? But I was like, this is what we need to do. If I want to keep winning and doing well, that's the next step. So then we did that, and it sort of actually didn't. The carbies that we ran weren't right. So we never actually did much with it. I ended up running this EFI Adams engine end of that year, and then I'm like, I think I went and did my brother David was racing for Storm Motorsports with that Ford engine. So they had a really good 360. Anyway, there was a drive day, end of the year. Did this drive day, like, you're getting in. Like, oh, okay. So I get in, and then within like a lap, I was pretty much doing wide open laps, or within like a lap or two, and really smooth. Because in formulas, you've got to be really smooth. So that sort of taught me that. And I was like, fuck, that was pretty cool. So anyway, but then it got to the point, I was like, okay, if formula engines are becoming, it got to that point. Like, I had the mild Yoshimura that Marcus organised. The stuff he was running, I'm talking, it was like Formula One technology, like the coatings on stuff. His would have been $70,000 to $80,000 engines, easy, right? Back then, I'm talking near on 10 years ago.
Far out.
So you think like, okay, the dollar dropped by then, so it was still a lot of money for a Formula. Ridiculous. And I know people are spending that now, but that's why I got out, because I'm like, number one, it's getting too expensive. At the end of the day, it is still Formula 500s, and it got to the point as well, it's pretty hard to get sponsors. People know a sprint car, and it's even the same now. I think speed cars are some of the best racing you can see. You get the right people, but the average punter on the hill doesn't care about speed cars. And that's reality, right? Like us as race fans, I love seeing Butter and Manders slide each other and go toe for toe. But the reality is the punter on the hill wants the car with the wing that's fast.
Yeah.
It's the same with late models can put on good racing. Sometimes it can drag on, but it can be good racing.
You're home by the time they finish some nights.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm still in the chute.
Yeah, but I think that's reality. People know sprint car racing, whether that's from TV, whatever it is. So it sort of got to a point, like, okay, if I'm going to spend that sort of money, I probably should think about it. So my last Formula 500, I actually did a deal with Kenny Mack. Actually, sorry, before that, I did a deal. Back then, you could lease motors from Gary. So I did it. I paid 3 nights in advance and said, all right, I'm going to lease a motor starting next year and just see if I like this. Anyway, that idea went out the window. He wanted to get his son into formulas. So I ended up doing a deal to sort of swap his lease engine he had for my Formula Complete. And then that was the motor I started with. So next minute we went from formulas to, I had like 2 or 3 sprint cars. I'm like, wanted to be set up because I'm like, hey, I'll probably crash or rip some shit up. So wanted to be ready. And obviously, maybe me, I didn't buy much secondhand gear. It was all pretty new. So it was, but I worked hard. So I appreciated buying it and setting up, refitted my truck, got ready. And then, I went to the first practice night. I think back then David was obviously racing. So my brother Mike was helping him. So I was sort of on my own. I really wanted Rick Geneve to help me because he's sort of mentally a really good mentor. He'd raced speed cars, been really good. He'd raced sprint cars for a little bit. But as a crew guy that has driven, he sort of had enough of both that would help me get going. And he helped me a little bit. But then, when I first went to practice, Michael came with me. And within, like, honestly, same thing. Like, within a few laps, it was probably wide open at practice. And then it's like, okay, like, this feels fast. Like, this is ridiculous. And that was the first time I drove 410. Anyway, and I remember Michael trying to, like, not say too much. And then I heard him say to my dad or my brother, it's like, man, he actually got around pretty good for his first time. Like, he was actually pretty quick. Anyway, we go to the first night, and I'll never forget it. I was telling someone about this the other day. Go to the first night and did qualifying. They're like, oh, I don't know if it was like an inversion or something, but they're like, oh, no, you're up to speed. You're all good. Like, you can go in the field. So I started the first heat in the front row. So I've come out, and I think it was Darryl Clayton's come off the bottom, and I've thought he's going to run into me, but I don't think he was going to run into me. And I've come out of the corner, and I've, like, lifted and managed to, like, get off the gas, and the car spun around the other way, and I've gone backflipping down the back straight. Like, I mean, I would have rolled 6 times. Actually, you know what? I reckon it's still here. I got it in my drawer to remind myself.
Don't back off.
No, it was in the newspaper. There you go.
Oh, no.
So I was backflipping down the back straight.
I'll put this up here.
I was backflipping, and I've just gone, oh, man, what have I done here? So I'm like, nah, I'm done. Like, we got to rebuild this car. My brother Mike was like, nah, we'll be
that's your first car, that car?
The white and green one. Yeah, that
seems lovely.
It was immaculate. Like, everything was, they were GF1 cars. And that Marcus Kelly guy, in the end, he was going to go sprint cars. So I bought the cars off him because he had all the cars there and sort of never raced. So he had it all new. So he sort of did me a deal. That's why I ended up buying new stuff. So he, it's just one of those things. So that was a quick lesson. I was like, okay, shit's a bit harder than I thought. And that's what I say to people. Like, I sold a car this year to Jake Robinson. And I said to him, I'm just going to tell you, driving them's easy, racing them's hard.
Yep.
Like, it's actually really, I'll go to practice Wednesday and you can do wide open laps all night. Go to race and you're racing against Dane or whoever you're close to. Racing them is way harder than driving them. Because whether it's the aero, whether it's whatever, it's definitely hands down way harder to race them than drive them. And I think people underestimate that. And I don't even think watching from the outside does it justice either. Like, I think until you've done it and appreciate it, you don't realize that. That's why, like I said, me sitting on the hill, I give credit where credit's due, mate. Like, they're doing a better job than me. Like, I don't sit there and go, oh, why are they beating me? What are they doing different? No, actually, they did a better job. They are doing better, and that's the bar. So if you want to beat them, that's the bar.
Yeah, I have this, like, theory just about confidence that, like, there's only a limited number of confidence out there. So the more Dane and Callum get, the less everyone else gets.
Yeah.
Like, and then it's the same theory I have out there. It's everyone starts at whatever 10 and it's mistakes. And you just make 3 more of them, like you said at the start, you get freight train 5. And it's just everyone starts here and whoever makes the least amount of mistakes is the winner.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and that every time, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, it's one of those things that's like people don't realize as well. Like, it's sometimes, and now it's probably gone from before you get away with 10%. Now you can't get away with 2%.
Yeah.
So that's trade. Like I said, I want to think I've had years here and there that probably aren't as good, but I like to think I got better every year, and the results. Like last year, I didn't get one podium. Year before, should have won a race. Had 3 or 4 podiums, and even that year was hard. And I don't think I did worse last year. It just got way harder.
Must be frustrating.
Whether it's high limit, it's the name of the game. I guess that's why for me, if I get it done, it'll mean more.
What's one race, if you could get this race back, what would it be? You get to re-race one race, knowing what you know now.
I think there's probably 3. I don't think it's one. I think the one where I should have won, where I'd like to chase Callum down. Like back then, it was on the border of when he got really good. So he was still, he was good, but he was sort of, he's not like as polished as what he is now. Does that make sense? So even then, to run him down past him and you're going to win the race, that was a hard one to swallow. Then obviously the one with Jock a couple of years ago, like I said, ran him down. We had a midweek show. I think I started on the front row with Jock. Straight after that, started on the front row and I think ran 2nd or 3rd. Like me, Jock, and Matt Eagle had a really good race. So like, there's been some really good moments like that. And then the other one would be the LJM race a couple of years ago. Led every lap, like till 5 or 6 to go, and I got to priority. I think it was the lap car. And I don't know why. I just couldn't drive around him. I drove around everyone else, got to him, and I was like, start driving the same speed, and Brad just drove past me. I had like 5 to go, and it was, I think, 10 grand to win. It's a pretty hard race. I just got back from over east, so I was pretty like being in the car, confident. I'd learned a lot. Got my ass kicked over there, but I'd learned a lot. Buzzy had helped me a lot while we were over there. I think he watched me struggle for a few nights before he gave me some tips. So couldn't you have told me that like at the start of the week? But no, he'll only give you a little pinch.
Is there a race? I got a few phone calls today about a race where Buzzy might have helped you.
Of course he did.
The brake lights. This is the story I got most of the messages about. Tell the brake lights. Go.
So I reckon it was, I want to say it was 2 years ago. No, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So Buzzy obviously wasn't with Monty anymore. He was at RPM. And I don't even know if he was doing my shocks at that point. He must have been doing my shocks at that point. So, yeah, he was. So, anyway, I'm like, I begged him. I'm like, because we're mates, but I like to keep, like, we'll talk about racing, but we're a bit funny like that. Like, we would he wouldn't want to do too much with me because he wouldn't want it to get between our friendship. Like we've become pretty close now. So he, Buzzy obviously comes that night and I'm like, I begged him to help me. I said, can I just have one weekend? So he goes, well, if I'm helping you 1 week, we're going to practice. So we go to practice. This thing's good. Go to race that weekend. It's King of Wings. So it's big. And King of Wings for me has always been a big race, which is why like it did hurt me sitting on the hill the other night, I'll be honest. I've always gone really good there. I don't know if it's because of the way the race is. I don't know if it's because there's 2 stages to it. I've always gone good there. And I couldn't even tell you why. Whether I just like the race. And it's also a race. My brother David won a lot of races, but he never won a King of Wings. So I was like, fuck him, I want to win.
Yeah, get one up on him.
Yeah. Yep. Not even so much that, but it would have been cool to have one. So that was when Inglis was in the Diamond Bay car, and he was doing he did the lead at the pit stop, double it sort of thing. Anyway, in clear air, I'm running Inglis down. I'm second, and I was like, man, I didn't give it at that stage. I'd had podiums. I didn't give a fuck about running second. I wanted to win.
Yeah.
Buzzy's looking at it, going, mate, good night. Run second. We run at the front. We're quick. We've ticked boxes. We moved forward from where we were. Because at that point, I was a little bit confused. Because me and when David helped me, I did really I did really well because I could concentrate on driving. But we're also very different how we drive. So David's very aggressive, likes a real tight car. I'm a little bit the other way, but I don't like a real free car. But I also don't like when my say right front's up and I can't feel the steering. I lose all confidence. So I prefer to drive on the right front where I got feeling. And David can drive off the corner where his left rear is all the way down and you're pointing to the fence. I'm a bit like that. I try and get off straight. So we're just very different. So anyway, I'm like, Buzz, can you just come help us for one night? So we're obviously running him down. There's about 2 laps to go. And I don't even know why. I did every lap on the wall. And we've gone into turn 1. And I think Jason Kendrick was 3rd, and he was like, I knew you weren't coming out of that corner. He goes, so I've slid myself like I was sliding someone. And I've bounced off the wall, sparks coming off the car, Buzz calls it Tony Hawked it across the top of the wall. And the only damage I actually did was when I came down, I never used to run beadlock left rears, so it just popped the tie off the rim. So that was it.
Yeah.
So we, that was, and then we've done that anyway. So I've gone from, I would have ran second. It was 2 laps to go. Jason Koenig wouldn't have gotten me. And it was, we were fine. We were decent that night. Yeah. So I'm like, we've gone to that to whatever. Anyway, the boys have changed the tyre and we're pushing in the chute. And all I saw was the brake. Buzz's car was parked at the bottom of the ramp where the crew go watch. All I saw was the brake lights on his ute and he was fucking leaving. I messaged him the next afternoon. I'd by then built up enough courage. Because mind you, people like that, they're invaluable, right? He's doing it as a mate to come help me. He's not charging me. He's doing it because he wants to see me go a bit better. He knows to see me go a bit better. I'm not, at that time, he wasn't racing. So it's not like I'm a threat to them or whatever. So I come in, all I see is his brake lights. The next day, I'm trying to build up courage. Do you reckon I can ring him? Do you reckon I can send him a message? So I sent him a message, said, hey, Buzz, is it too early to talk yet? He goes, no. I think it was just one word, no. Then the next day, is it still too early? He didn't want to talk. He goes, what the fuck were you thinking? When I spoke to him, he's like, honestly, what were you thinking? You were doing so well. There was literally 2 laps to go or something. Well, it would have been a good night. Ran second. We got the car in a nice window, and it was slick to the fence that night, around the wall. I'd done a good job for 38 laps, and then fucked it. Fuck. But looking back at that time, like I said, I really, still this day, obviously want to win a race. I haven't won a feature, run second so many times. But those are the moments it's I didn't care. For me, I wasn't even seeing who's behind me running second. I had vision that I thought I could pass. In clean air, I thought I could do a better job to be able to pass James. And James was really good. He was in the Diamond Bay car.
He was fast.
Fast. Yeah. And he was quick that night too. And it was only at that point of the feature I was probably quicker than him. The start of the feature, he was gone. But it was as the race went on, we probably got a little bit better. But yeah, we still joke about it now. We call it the brake lights. So Buzz winds me up.
Nah, he got into me today. He rang me about it and made sure. But look, that's how passionate he is, eh?
Yeah.
Like he loves it. Like it's the most simple sport in the world. You would see it on the hill. It's so easy to watch. To know what you should be doing is the easiest thing in the world from the hill.
Oh, you don't lose a race.
No.
I won the last 2 nights from the hill. No, and that's what I mean. Like I can see it a different perspective because I race. So that's why I watch those guys. I'm like, what they're doing is good. And even like Buzz is another, but like honestly, I used to think Buzz was a dickhead. Like we didn't. I was obviously younger, but when you look back now, like he's there to do a job now. And I think if he sees value in you or as a mate or whatever, he's probably a little bit different. Like he doesn't want to talk to everyone every day of the week. He's probably got a few people he speaks to. And we don't speak every day, but we will have a week where we speak every day and then we won't speak for 3 weeks. It's just, but yeah, I get along really good with him now. When they're at the track, his job's to go win a race. My job's different. My job's obviously to go win a race, but it's not my income. It's not my, if I don't win a race, am I going to get fired by my boss? And I've always said this too, like if I love what we do as a family, I think as much as good as say I ever would have got when I was younger, if I got opportunities to drive cars, I don't know if I'd change it to not have our family. Like I'm the only one doing it now. We go to the racetrack, my mum and dad are there. David probably doesn't get there as much now because he's so busy with crews. But, my brother Michael helps me. My kids are coming down. My wife, obviously last year while we got little ones, was a little bit hard. But my oldest daughter loves it. She was here yesterday. I had to be here while we started the car and things like that. So now it's a different, I guess, perspective. My whole family's tight. Jason's wife, Jason's kids are always there. So I think to take that away, and I think if you drive for someone, you lose that. Like you can't have your whole family hanging out of, and David experienced that. Like he obviously, the Diamond Bay thing was a great opportunity for David to sort of get back in. But it's like for us that have been around that family thing, it's hard.
Someone else's gig.
Yeah, it's someone else's. It's their truck. It's their, it's not your own.
Yeah,
so
you don't feel at home.
I don't know. I think I've worked hard enough to not have to do that and rely on that. Like there's people that really rely on getting a drive, like Manda's touched on, like he, had to get a drive, and that's why he's so talented. Like that, he's got to make it work. But it doesn't give me that desire that we're not competitive. Like my brother Michael and Jason, whatever, they get up me. It gets pretty heated some nights. Like some nights I fire back off, and sometimes I say like it's silly. Like we're yelling and screaming over nothing. It doesn't make you any better. The good teams don't do that.
Nah.
And that's what, but it's different. We're family. It's probably a little bit more passionate. As far as you
just comfortable around each other, tell each other the truth.
But I mean, like I said, we come in some nights, and from the minute I get out of the race car to feature, and I drive the truck. So unless we go over east or whatever, then if we're racing each night, like I'll have nights where I try to sleep while we're driving back or whatever. But generally, I drive the truck, so the boys will jump in, go there, and on the way back, they'll have a few drinks, and I enjoy driving the truck home. Sometimes it's like there's no music on. Michael sits in the passenger seat. He's 3 jacks down, and I'm like, we get to Ocean Reef Road, which is good 45 minutes from the motorplex. That's the main street where my shop is, like close enough. And I'm like, fuck, can I talk to him yet, you reckon?
I love it.
And I'm like, how do I break the ice? It's my brother, and I'm like, because in my head, like sometimes I say, I know it. Like if you think that I want to go there and run shit, you're dreaming.
Yeah.
Like I want to go good. So, and if you think that I don't know I did not a good job, you don't need to tell me. I know. But then I guess they look at it as like constructive criticism. But I think sometimes, like I'm a little bit of a confidence person too. So sometimes everyone being a bit ridiculous, can not help me. David honestly was really good. Like David was hard on me.
I remember one of my favourite clips in all of Speedway is the King of Wings one where he says,
and that was probably another one. Yeah, like I was hands down the fastest car that night. And it was like I think we'd passed for second, yellows come out, went back to third, like with the pit stop yellows. And I honestly had the quickest car and just didn't win it. And I don't know what it was that night. And then David did kick my ass. I think I ran second or third, but I should have won. And they're the nights that
if you don't win, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Kick your fucking ass, yeah. And I remember, and they're the nights that you can't let them go because, look, I'd love to get those moments back now. And if I finish that race now with what I know now, I'd win the race.
Yeah.
But everyone else has got better too.
That's the thing.
So it's harder. But I wish there's been, a fair few moments. Like there was another King of Wings. I drove from wherever, got to second, went to pass Daniel Harding for the lead, and he's crowded me on the infield, and I've just got into him, spun out, and still ran fourth.
Yep.
That night, I was really good as well. Again, I think was getting around the bottom really good. But at the end of the day, like I said, Dane and Callum win those races because they put themselves in that position every week. So there's nights that they probably end up third or second, like the ones I could have won. Well, they're nights they could have won too. So, okay, they're going to win 10 races in a year. But because they've always put themselves in that position, that's why they're so good.
And that's never why miss an opportunity.
Yeah.
If there's a pass to be made, they get it. Yeah. All the good guys do. You're like,
yeah, but I think as well, it's got to a point where you can't, like my brother, that's what Michael will say, like you can't fuck around because there's a window where if you don't get them, you end up racing them and you're the same speed as them. So these are things that I think over the years has changed or whatever, but it just gets harder and harder every year.
Well, so Saturday night, the whole family's there. Like are you excited?
Yeah, I'm pumped for this week. Like it's been a good break. I'm actually really looking forward to my little daughter, my oldest daughter being there. She loves it. Like she's here with Jake doing tyres. I went last night. She was at the shop all day. She slept for about 15 minutes. She's only 2.5, but she's like doesn't stop talking.
Yeah,
and loves it. She'd be like me, obviously. But my mum always said, "You'll get back what you gave."
Yeah.
So she doesn't shush. She's always got something to say. And we're laying in bed last night. Daddy, she's just saying random stuff. I did the tyres with Jake. She's doing the tyres with Jake. She said, I've got to make Daddy go fast. And then we're laying in bed and she goes, we got to check the tyre pressures. I did the tyre pressures today. And I messaged Jake. I'm like, where's she getting this shit from? Wait, look, this is 9:30 on a Sunday night. 2-year-old won't go to sleep. And she's telling me about tyre pressures. I messaged Jake. I'm like, is she talking shit or what? He goes, nah, she's bang on. I'm doing the tyre pressures with her today. We had to fix the right front. Like, she's just, and like, so she's at an age now, when she was like 6 months old, we went to the Classic.
Yep.
And that year was hard. It was my first year. We had a 6-month-old. We're racing nearly every day.
Yeah.
It was like she went to the track for 2 heat. My wife and my daughter went for the track 2 heat races the night I didn't race. And it was that dusty, whatever. Like, it's too hard. But they're that little, honestly, it's too hard. Kwinana, you probably get away with because they can go back to the truck. But it's hard. And then, obviously, when she was old enough to sort of enjoy it more, when she was, like, 1 a bit and walking, my wife was pregnant again. She'd get, like, really tired.
Yeah.
Obviously, she doesn't come in the truck. So she didn't really come much last year. But this year, we're looking forward to my older one being. She literally loves it. She's come to both first 2 meetings with me and just sits on the hill and just she'll watch, like, I'm watching her. She's watching every qualifying lap like we would watch it and just loves it. Puts sprint cars on at home. Like, I think the last 3 weeks she just sits there watching Dad's interviews, or I don't even know how she finds it, or like how my wife even finds it. They're like old or interviews my dad did back in the day. But I'm honestly looking forward to having my girl there, little Alexia. She's I've got another obviously little one, Sophia, but she's 6 months now, so she's probably a little bit too young to understand just yet. But Alexia, I'm looking forward to just seeing how excited she is.
Mate, get ready for some home trips. I get them all the time.
Yeah.
Dad, why didn't you win?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I tried. They're like, well, you won that one. They don't understand the difference between the heats and the features. So, but you let them beat you in the next one.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I was trying.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Having her there, having my whole family there. Like I said, we're all, pretty close in it. And everyone that puts the effort in as well. One of my sponsors, New Style Living, who's been me 10 or 11 years now.
Yep.
His son actually works for me in my business now, and he's going to crew this year. So that'll be good. He's there. Obviously, Jake, who I touched on who Jake is, and there's no way I could go racing without Jake. Like, any minute I'm here building a car or fixing a car or doing something, Jake's with me. Like, he's my right-hand man. The amount of times we get here in the morning and then we just say it's an off-season, we just get into it, want to finish building cars. It's like midnight or 3 a.m. and we're still here just because we get into it. And like, me and him will just keep going. We won't even eat for the day or whatever, just because we're just into it. We just get it. We just get in and get it done, whether it's maintenance, whatever. yeah, I'd be screwed without Jake. He's awesome. So, yeah. So people like that, I really want to reward him. He's had a bet for about 5 years with me. That if I win a race, he's going to take me to Miami. So I've got a pretty good incentive that I haven't taken. So mind you, and then there's 2 bets in that. One is if it's a blue ribbon, which is pretty much every race I'm going to do this year. I've made my life a little bit hard.
Yep.
If it's blue ribbon, it's business class return. If it's a normal race, it's...
He doesn't want you to win.
Yeah. Nah, he actually, believe it or not, he does. And I even say that. I'm like, are you sure? So that, the race that was the LJM race that I should have really won, he counted that as blue ribbon.
Yeah, that's a Grand Prix.
He said it's a, he says, and I'll ask him, is this blue ribbon or not? I want to know before. So he goes, yeah, you're 6 laps away from Miami business class. Because I keep going, go to Miami. I don't even know why it's Miami, but yeah, he wants to go. So I really hope I can reward him, like whether it's running good or whatever. We've had some wicked memories, especially going away the last few years. Yeah, he's awesome.
Done. All right. Well, we'll put a full stop on it there. We'll get Jake in next time and do chapter 2. But
might have to. Well, I get my brother Michael on, but I feel like he probably doesn't like talking about different stories and different stuff. But
mate, do you know who I get asked for the most is Pino.
My dad.
Oh, mate, I get pumped for messages to try and get Pino on.
You might have to go to the golf club to get him on.
Where's he hit him?
Maylands, I think.
Him versus Taylor, who wins?
Taylor would have all the equipment.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down. But I don't know. Well, Dad's getting old, and he's not that old. He's only 63.
Yeah, but those old dudes just pump him down the middle.
Yeah, but he plays at the Italian club. I give him shit all the time. They cheat.
Yeah.
Like, they don't...
foot wedge.
Like, they go on these Italian club... They go on these, Italian club. They'll go on a trip away, and they used to do, each state, it has a tournament each year. And my uncle, who's 4 years older than my dad, he'd go and then he'd come back. And I was like, what? They've won this cup 4 years in a row. They lost it this year. My brother Michael wind him up. My uncle come in the workshop. What happened? Why didn't they win? Oh, these fucking dickheads think they can go drink piss every night and play golf. So they have a good time. Like my old man, there was a period he should be off 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And he's off 14, 15. But, now as you obviously get older, that can change too. So, but he still can, he can hit a ball. Like he'll hit him, soft and straight, and he can hit a ball good. So I haven't actually played with Taylor, so I don't know.
He's a pirate, I reckon.
Yeah, I don't know. I definitely know he's got all the equipment. He's like Veerley.
Yeah.
Like whether it's the shoes or the shorts or the shirt, he's have 10 of them and the clubs. And he's another one. Like he's an actual ripper bloke. Yeah. Like we drove last year. I'm surprised he didn't message you this actually.
Oh, he won. I need to check. I got some messages before. That's what.
We went to Kalgoorlie last year just to visit him, and they were like, we didn't even tell him we'll come, and was like, fuck, I hope they're in town. It's a long drive if they don't know. So we went and surprised him. I drew Taylor's new house up for him, so I wanted to go and see it and go on. I get along really good with Taylor and Jody. They're great people. So wanted to go see him and see the house and spend a bit of time with them. So we booked a hotel, went in on the Friday, get there on Saturday morning, went and surprised them at the workshop, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, come to see you. He's like, no, you didn't. I said, yeah, we come to see you. He's like, no way. So anyway, we give it a pretty good crack that night. They had an egg shortage in town. So we're driving around. We wanted to have amaretto sours, and you need egg whites. You don't need the yolk, but you need egg whites to make them. So we're determined we're making these amaretto sours. I think we went through, I want to say it was ridiculous number of cartons of eggs. We're sending my wife and Jody out to go to different shops because it was a carton restriction, whether it's 2 cartons at a time. Yeah. And you need 2 egg whites per drink or something. So you go through a shitload of eggs. Quick. We would have had, honestly, I reckon we had 15 or 20 amaretto sours each, me, Jake, and Taylor that night. And there was no eggs.
That's why there's
Kalgoorlie. Yeah. So I thought he was going to brave you up about that. But yeah, he's a riff bloke. Get along good with him.
Mate, I haven't read through all of them. It says 322 messages.
What?
So I'll just go through a couple. I don't name names because sometimes it can give away who it is. But anyway, just your hopes for high limit is the first question. Do you have any, you're going to race high limits and Just every feature? What is it?
I mean, the competition's tougher again this year, but I'd like, you run top 5 or something at high limit. Yeah. We had some really good nights there last year. One, we crashed first lap of the feature. First night, I think we went like 20 something to 11th or 12th. The next night we ran, or maybe it's 9th. So the next night, Cole Larson started in front of me. I think I started 13th and ran 7th. I was really good that night. He only finished right in front of me as well. So we both moved through the field. So that was really
wild
good.
to race Kyle?
No, I didn't even think of it like that because he was in front of me too. So I was more worried about my own race.
Yeah.
It's not like I was sliding him lap after lap.
Yeah.
And that was the night Dane took the front end out. And I think he ended up getting Dane across the finish line. So Dane ended up in front of me, I think.
Yeah.
He went across the finish line, no front end. But I'm looking forward to that. Like, I know it was a stat I wound you up about. Everyone was saying only 2 cars or whatever made all high limits, and we made every night last year. So
I got a few messages about that. All right.
Yeah, I was winding you up.
I was
Gotta get your stats right.
Yeah, well, they weren't my stats, to be fair.
No, I don't care. I had a laugh.
Who's your? I think it says apartment, but I think it's meant to be opponent. So who's your toughest opponent? Like, who do you find yourself racing with all the time?
It's not so much find myself racing with all the time, but I remember a few years ago when Dane was first in the cricket car. For some reason, me and him always clashed.
Okay.
And it wasn't intentional. Just I'd want to beat Dane and race him harder or do something. But yeah, I'd say any of them. 3/4 of the field's tough opponents. But I remember go back a few years. Jason Kendrick was bad. Like, he'd near on. There was nights where he'd just slide you and take the front end, front of your car, and you just had to brake. But he was at that elite level at that time where he was the quickest car. He had confidence. It didn't matter who was on the track.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, it depends. Like, right now, it'd obviously be Dane and Callum. But, yeah, there's been other opponents. Like,
is
Jason
this just with this one? Is that a casino or is that a different place?
It's a karaoke lounge.
Oh, okay. So are you still a VIP at Mirage?
Nah, retired.
Okay. I was thinking.
Retired.
Okay.
The voice couldn't handle it anymore.
What's on the menu after washing up at Tolma?
Oh, we went. I gave someone shit the other day because these guys and this is the thing. I think when you go on the road, they're so, and I joke about it now. Like, people are talking about whatever's going on in the sport and whether someone's cheating, someone's not. I find when I go away, I don't hear anything, and then you go there and I find everyone really nice and helpful. Like, we were at Tolma, you're in pretty much the middle of nowhere. Tolma, everyone looks at the track amazing. There's fucking nothing in the town. This guy comes up and, like, we're just about to reverse out. We're going to head to the Tail and Bend. We'll try to find somewhere to wash, and, like, the car washes between there and Tail and the Bend Motorsport Park, whatever, we're staying there. They're literally in the middle of nowhere, or whether they're open or not. This guy just comes up. Hey, mate, like, if you guys want to wash up tonight, we've got a, like, diesel joint around the corner, machinery. So we're like, oh, like, we don't want to put you out, but that's like, I don't expect someone after watching the races all night to go open their business to accommodate us to go wash our race car. And then we, like, washed, loaded up, and we drove to the Bend. So anyway, we get there, and there was us and Diamond Bay there. This guy's got 2 hot washers set up, like 2 like good pressure cleaners. So obviously they use it for work.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So clean as anything, this place. We parked up, whatever. And they start washing, and they're loose. And they're like, what the fuck are these blokes doing? We roll out the barbecue. Jake's dad, again, we were all driving back. And we had some meat and stuff there. And we'd packed a little barbecue when we left Perth for these situations in case. The boys don't really eat much all night.
Yeah.
My mum didn't have a fry pan with all their cutlets that she does for the boys every night. So we put on a bit of barbecue. So when I saw Don Bay was there last week, said, I bet you there was no barbecue. So that's probably why they're talking about that.
This what do you prefer in your ding snags, fennel or aniseed?
So that's definitely come from either Brad Manolo, as Cullen would say it. Can't say Mayolo.
Oh,
I reckon
I didn't know what to say when he was saying that.
It's either Brad Manolo or it's Kieran Nutsy.
Nah, someone who worked for Brad.
Worked for Brad.
Jono.
Oh, yeah, he was there too. Yeah, sorry. So we did a sausage day, and I did one with them, couldn't do it. They're out of control, those boys. Can you get them drinking? I was in charge of the pasta, which they must have thought I could cook because I'm Italian.
Yeah.
Can't cook for shit.
Okay.
I've got good mum and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So anyway, I was like, yeah, I'll be all right. I'll wing this pasta. I'm rocking up bottles from my wife's family, like Nunna's house, which is her grandparents. They make the sauce. So I'm thinking, I got the sauce. You can't really fuck it up from here. And I think it was all right. Rocking up bottles of red wine. We got absolutely plastered that day making sausages. And then we had fennel or something. We needed aniseed. I'm like, we need to go get aniseed. And they're like, and I went to the shop. They sent me the shop to get it. The shop was like across the road from Nutsy's house. I'm like, they've only got aniseed. He goes, it's the same fucking thing. So I thought they were two different things. Did you think fennel and aniseed?
Just right there until you explained it, I thought they were two different things.
There you go.
Why do they have different names if they're the same thing?
You're a dickhead too.
No, I'm not.
So you can go sausage day next year, see if you can keep up with them. It's a big day.
How did you get the nickname Malcolm?
So as a kid, my brothers used to say that like I was always being real tanned. And if I go out in the sun now, I'll go to Europe. My wife hates it. It's because she's like, you get tan so easy or whatever. And I tan real easy, so I was pretty dark. Like obviously I'm a bit now, but I would be like real dark in summer. So they used to say I looked like, and obviously wasn't like a skinny kid. So they used to say I looked like Mel Meninga, the rugby player.
Oh, yeah.
So it was always Mel Meninga, and then Malcolm in the middle was a TV show or whatever.
Yeah.
So then Malcolm stuck. So
Malcolm.
now they've always called me Malcolm. I think it's faded a little bit now, but it was always a big thing. I think my brother David and Jason still call me Malcolm.
I think you know this. Where do you get your sponges from?
I won't tell you about JD Dax Dodge. My truck must have been a sponge. I don't know.
What about the time in, you'll guess who this is from as well, Mount Gambier nightclub, vodka orange juices. Who are you with? Tell me the story.
So this was the story I told you last year.
Yep.
Probably should. Actually, it's fine because we didn't do anything wrong. So myself and Jake drove. The first year I went over east, I flew there and drove home. Realised that was a bit of a rookie error. So this year I drove there because I thought if I have a really bad last night, at least I can fuck off on a plane. I don't need to drive home and think about it for 3 days. So we left Perth at like 2 a.m. I like leaving when there's, early morning, just get up and hit the road. There's no one on the road. You get a good day's driving that first day. So we get going. We get to like the border. Jake's like, man, I feel pretty good. It was like 9 at night. And we'd like sort of done both stints. We had a logbook the whole time, so we did everything right. And we'd done even driving, so we were good. So we ended up driving all the way, and I got tired at one point, and then I was good again. We drove from Perth, 2 a.m., and did not stop, well, basically stopped for fuel until we got to Mount Gambier. And we got to Mount Gambier at like 4 o'clock the next day. And we, drove into there. Parked up. I went for a run at Mount Gambier. Come back. Jake's like fallen asleep on the bed. Like we've just driven. We were fine driving, but then once we stopped, we were like, we're tired.
Yeah, cook job.
We'll go get some dinner with Balls and Carl, would have been Carl and Nate Dogg. Obviously, Callum Williamson's team. And Callum wasn't there, and we thought we'll go to this restaurant for dinner. We went there, and it was just a bar or whatever. Had a feed. We went to then they're like, we're closing. And there was no, I don't think there was a slots or whatever, so you can go have a punt. So yeah, we walk outside. I'm like, what's that noise? I can hear music. Like, we're going to follow the noise. So we start following the noise. We find this joint, and it's funny. They went back this year and it was dead. There was no one there. But this joint was pumping. Like, they reckon it was like the best night that place had had in years.
Yeah, right.
I'm in Burke's. We went to dinner, just casual, went in. We ended up leaving there. I reckon we rolled in about 4 a.m. Lucky we'd gotten there a day earlier. So I only had to drive to Warrnambool, and we weren't racing until Sunday.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't even intentional. So they got on the vodka oranges. Me and Jake are on I think I had 1 vodka orange. Like, man, it's not breakfast time. I'm not drinking that. But they smashed them. They were like, it was in rotation. Whoever came back from the bar, the next person went, got another round, and we were going flat out.
So what I feel like what my wife drinks on Christmas morning.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that, but they obviously sweet stuff. But even Carl loves his beer. He was smashing vodka oranges. I don't think Carl was a fan of it the next day, but you know what? Like it's things like that. Like we don't do that with them here. Like they're 2 streets from my shop now, 2-3 streets away. Their shop, and like I see Balls a bit. And obviously, when I own the cafe next door, Balls would come get coffee. I don't own that anymore, and yes, he'd come in and we'd talk. Even when bars used to be around here, like we'd have coffee and talk. But they're so close, but we don't get times like that. Like we wash the car after racing, and we're just with our tight knit group.
Yeah.
Like my family, my brothers, whatever. But then when we go away, it's weird. It's different. Like we'll be at if there's a night off, we'll be at the Whalers in Warrnambool and be at the Pokies till 2 a.m. or whatever. Not get like if I'm racing, I'm not getting pissed every night or anything, but just having those times. Like we have such a laugh. There's so many good people I've met there that I stay in contact with, like Jai Corbett. Speak to him a fair bit. He's we're always trying to look for riblets for him in Perth in case he doesn't know. But me and Jake go hunting for him. You can get him on and ask him what riblets are. But yeah, just people like that. They're just, and I don't know where it's funny. I talked about it with Jake and I'm like, why? We don't know what it is. Like, why is, yes, okay, we go here and we go home. But I feel like everyone here sticks to themselves. And we don't want to hang around the track all night and drink because we want to wash. We got a family to be with Sunday. We don't want to lose our Sunday washing because for some reason it takes an hour to do it the night you race or like 5 hours if you do it on the Sunday. I don't even know why, but you just drag it out for so much longer.
Because you don't want to be there.
Yeah, so, but I don't know whether we were talking about it. We're like, is it because more of the people over there that race are from the country and they're just nice people, just genuinely really good people? Like, people like Veerley, again, like if you don't know him, but I've known Veerley for a long time. They open their workshop. There's like 7 or 8 sprint cars working out of Veerley's workshop in the period of the biggest race for him for the year in his hometown. Like for me, wouldn't he want to concentrate on himself? And I keep saying to him, no, don't worry about me. No. He got upset the first year because we worked out of the truck at the hotel. I mean, my truck's set up. Like, I don't need to be in a workshop. But then the last night, I think when we were there, we went and washed. Like some, like Rico and stuff had gone home. Maybe there's an Australian title. So we washed at his. But I was like, I don't want to put you out. Like, I feel bad.
Yeah.
But they're just good people. Like Sam that crews for Veerley. He's just like, honestly, really, they'd do anything. They'd sweep the floor for you before they worry about working their own car. Like, it's weird. But they're just, you meet so many really, really good, genuine people. I mean, we went to the Australian title that first year I went away. Mind you, I'd only really raced at Kwinana. So you don't realise how much you need your brakes until you go away. So I'd, whatever brakes or I'd, never change or whatever. And I had brand new brake on. I got in a crash first night of the Classic, snapped a brand new rotor. So the old one went back on. And I was like, man, I'm sure, like, I can't run the bottom. I've got no brakes. Like, it's literally like I'm just holding it down. It's not doing anything. So Jai Corbett's dad goes, next week for the Australian title, I'm going home. I'll bring you brakes back. Like, who does? He goes, we'll work it out later. I know you'll fix me up. So he comes back, walks in the pits, Aussie title. We've scrutineered. I'm about to go out to qualifying. There's no brakes on my car. No front rotor. No, he's got the front hub off, changing the rotor. There's like 3. All his crew there comes over with like, like a pump, almost like a porta power pump. He's got that for like bleeding brake lines. He's got, and I'm like, these people I've known for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know, I don't know anyone that would do that. And whether, because I was over there, it's different when you're here. And I'm normally like well set up, so I don't normally would end up in that. And I just put basic Wheelwood stuff on, and that's how I've ended up on Wheelwood. And then the next year, Wheelwood looked after me to change all my stuff over, and haven't looked back since. So and this year, Race and Fosbergen's helped me out a lot to, like, I'd sort of had 2 different brake packages, didn't know which one I'd like. This year I've gone to the one I did like, so they helped me out again to do that. But there's just genuine people that, I don't know what, like I said, is it a country town? I don't know what it is, but they're just willing to help people and not, oh, you're a competitor, or that is not, they're different. So I don't know the reason.
Nah, I think everyone's so competitive here, but I find there's heaps of good teams in the pits and they don't necessarily get along. And I'm like, if you guys didn't race each other, you'd all be actual best mates.
Yeah.
But you're racing each other. Like,
Yeah,
it is a bit
it's weird. And then there's others. I'm probably a little bit different. Where my friends, a lot of my friends are non-race people.
Yep.
So like I always say, like especially when I started racing, I live a normal life. Whether it's mates, family, they're not like most of my mates. They helped me for a period in sprint cars, but they didn't know what the fuck a sprint car was or changing tires. They learnt it. Now it's obviously my brothers and people that have been around for a while, but I like that I can switch off from racing. I don't want to talk about racing every day. I'll talk about it now with you, but as far as like day to day, yeah, my daughter might love it or whatever, but I don't necessarily just want to talk about racing every day. I like the fact that, and my brother Michael's big on it. We go to the pub and you bring up racing, no chance. Bet on the horses.
Yeah.
Talk about something else. Talk about the cricket, talk about the footy. Like my brothers and Jake and that love their footy.
Yeah.
Don't know why we go for the team we do, but they love their footy.
Are you in the box with Mitch, eh?
Nah, yeah, we were, yeah. So, yeah, we're like, my whole family's been Carlton, so I don't know why my dad steered us in the wrong direction from when we were kids. But, we love the Blues. We've been, my brother Michael's been a member for, I think he said like 20-something years the other day. So he's been a member since he was like 15 or 16 or something. But, yeah, things like that, like, I can switch off and I don't need to worry about racing. And I say it to Taylor Milling and I probably say it, not out of context, but I honestly think the people you talk to in racing, you've got stuff in common. I think if I stopped racing, there's probably 5 people that I reckon I could stay close with. Like we went to Taylor's, like I said, drove to Kalgoorlie. We didn't talk about racing that much.
Just eggs.
How the fuck do we make this drink better?
Where's the best
But
egg
I just
shop?
like they're just, and again, maybe country people.
Yeah.
Like he just genuine good people.
Yeah.
And hey, there's heaps of ripper people in Speedway that I like. Would I, if I didn't race, if I stopped racing, if I stopped racing, I don't know if I'd go every week. I'd probably go 1-2 races a year. Like I feel like I'm an all-in sort of person. I mean, I'm in or I'm not in. So I think I'd go to a couple of big races, but would I go every week? I don't reckon I would, I think it'd be hard watching every week, but I'm definitely not ready to stop by any means. But it's just it's weird. Like you meet so many different people. Like I joke with, like I said, Taylor. I feel like I'm talking about Taylor now. I joke about now. I just thought he was like sport kid, didn't work, just drove a sprint car. His dad was, mate, he's like, nah, man. We're trying to get him to go to the classic. I want to do one. Obviously, I helped him, sort his new truck out. And I'm like, come on, like Georgie's dad.
Put it to your good use.
One trip together. Like, let's do a trip over. Like, and now Taylor's a lot better than what he was when he was traveling, doing all that. He was a lot younger then.
Yeah.
I'm like, go have one more crack, like where you're of an age, but it's hard. Like he's like, well, it's our first week back. Rig's got to go out for work. Like people think that he doesn't do all that, but between work, racing, and sounds like him and Taylor, him and Callum play a lot of Call of Duty together. I don't know where they get time for that. Because mate, when I get home, it's like shower one kid, dinner. I'm in bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, same.
So, I don't know where they get the time to do that.
So, all right, well, let's wrap it up. Chapter 2, Jake.
Thanks,
come and grab a mic, Jake, and we'll do it out. But, yeah, mate.
Do you reckon we can do it from Mirage? Or?
Yeah.
All right,
mate. If
done.
Take one of their mics.
Hang on, who's getting the bill? We'll bring Luch Monty with us.
All Talk Edge.
All Talk? Oh,
All Talk Edge.
Flying colours.
Yeah, he'll sort it out. Yeah. And, mate, if Monty wants to throw the credit card out, I'll take that too.
Nah, Luch will come too. He's good value there.
Done. See you, mate.
Thanks, mate.